Hello students, welcome to my class. Today we will continue with the chapter trigonometric functions of class 11. So in class 10 you have already studied trigonometric ratios for acute angle. So you have already studied what are the 6 trigonometric ratios you have studied in class 10: sin x, cos x, tan x, and the next 3 ratios are the reciprocals of these, that is cosec x, sec x and cot x. So these are the 6 ratios you have studied in class 10, but there you have studied the trigonometric ratios for acute angle. But in this chapter we are going to study trigonometric ratios, these trigonometric ratios for any angle. It need not be acute angle, for any angle, and we are going to study these trigonometric ratios as trigonometric functions. Okay, so how can we say these ratios as functions? So for that first we will see what is a function, definition of a function. We have already studied what is a function. A function is a rule, it is a rule which produces new element out of given values. So this is the definition. This way we can say function in this way also. It is a rule which produces new element out of the given values. For example, if I am taking f of x is equal to x square, I can say this as a function. Why? Because when you substitute x is equal to 1, I am getting f of x is equal to 1 square is equal to 1. When I am substituting x is equal to 2, I am getting f of x is equal to 2 square, which is equal to 4. When x is equal to 3, I am getting f of x is equal to 3 square, which is equal to 9. So for every values of x, we are getting a new number, and that too a unique element. We are not getting double values, we are getting a unique f of x. So we can say that this expression, this one is a function, this rule is a function. So the same argument we will use here for sin x and cos x. So first we will consider the ratio sin x. So f of x is equal to sin x. So when x is equal to 0, you have already studied in class 10 the trigonometric ratios of specific angles. When x is equal to 0, what is f of x? Sin 0 value. Sin 0 value is 0. When x is equal to 30 degree, f of x is equal to sin 30 degree, which is equal to 1 by 2. When x is equal to 45 degree, what is f of x? Sin 45 is equal to 1 by root 2. So 1 by root 2 you can write. When x is equal to 60 degree, f of x is equal to sin 60 is equal to root 3 by 2. So here if you see, for every values of x, for a unique value of x, we are getting a unique f of x. Unique value we are getting for this sin x ratio, trigonometric ratio sin x. So we can say that sin x is a function. The same argument we can use for cos x. If you take sin x is equal to 30, you will get cos 30 as root 3 by 2. So for every angle you will get different values for cos. That is, that function cos x is also a function. So we got sin and cos, we can say as function. So what about then the remaining ratios? These remaining ratios also we can express in terms of sin and cos, because you know that tan x is equal to sin x by cos x. We can express tan x in terms of sin and cos. Cosec x I can write as 1 by sin x. Sec x I can write as 1 by cos x. And cot x I can write as cos x by sin x. So the remaining 4 ratios I can write in terms of sin and cos. Since sin and cos are functions, these the remaining 4 ratios also functions. Okay, that we will see later. Now remaining 4 ratios. Now what we have to learn? We have to learn this sin and cos. We have to learn more about this sin and cos trigonometric function. Okay, so we have to study some properties of sin x and cos x. So let's see what is that. Let us consider a unit circle. So we are going to consider a unit circle. So what do you mean by unit circle? The radius is 1 unit. Okay, so let us consider a unit circle with origin, with the center as origin. So origin of the coordinate axis. So we are going to consider a unit circle with center as the origin, that is 0 0, this point, and this circle is having radius 1 unit. So radius 1 unit, and these are the coordinate axes. Okay, so this is x, x dash, y, y dash. Now on this circle we are going to take a point, that is P. Let P be any point on this circle, this unit circle, and since this point P is a point on the coordinate axis, we can represent P as ordered pair. So we can take P as ordered pair AB. Okay, now you listen, if this point P, that is this line, subtends x radian at the center with the positive direction of x axis. So this line OP subtends x radian with the positive direction of x axis. That is, if this point we are denoting by A, this arc AP is of length x unit. We have already seen this. If it subtends x radian at the center, it's meaning the length of the arc AP is x units. Okay. So then if it subtends x radian at the center, how will you represent this point P in terms of this angle x? Okay, how can we represent P in terms of this angle x? For that, we will draw a perpendicular PM. So PM perpendicular to OA. So we are drawing a perpendicular PM. Now since we know the coordinate of the point AB, what is OM? OM will be A unit and PM will be B unit. So here, since the coordinates of P is A and B, OM is A unit and PM equal to B unit. So now we will consider this right angled triangle, triangle OMP. So in triangle OMP, since it is a right angled triangle, we can use trigonometric ratio concept. So with respect to this angle x, this side is opposite side and OM is adjacent side. So first we will take a sine ratio. So sine x is equal to opposite side is MP divided by OP, hypotenuse is OP. So opposite side by hypotenuse, that is MP by OP. But what is OP? OP is nothing but the radius of the circle, and since it is a unit circle, its radius will be 1 unit. So here in the place of OP you can write 1. And what about MP? MP is B. So we can write B by 1. So B is equal to sin x. So we got the y coordinate as sin x. Similarly, the same triangle, if you consider cos x formula is adjacent side by hypotenuse, that is OM by OP, that is OM is A by 1. So we will get A is equal to cos x. So the x coordinate we got as cos x. So for any point, so we can write this point P as cos x comma sin x. So any point P on a unit circle, if it subtends x radian at the center, then the coordinates of P will be cos x comma sin x. Okay, so according to the angle we will get the coordinates. Suppose if you imagine this point, that is this angle reduces, that is this point, if it is comes closer to A and if it is coinciding with the A, then this OP line is coinciding with A, what will be the angle at that point? It is 0. Angle will be 0 at this point A. So if the angle is 0, if the angle is x, you will get the coordinate as cos x comma sin x. If the angle is 0, how can you represent this point A? Cos 0 comma sin 0. Clear? Now if the same thing, if the point OP, this line, if the angle increases and if it coincides with this y axis, That is, in this point I will denote as B. If the point B coincide, if the point P coincide with B, then this angle, actually this angle is 90 degree. Okay, that is pi by 2. When you represent this in radian measure, that is pi by 2. So at B, the angle is pi by 2. So what is the coordinate of this point at this coordinates of B? Cos pi by 2 comma sin pi by 2. So you will get the coordinate of B as cos pi by 2 comma sin pi by 2. Again, if this point P moves and coincide with this point, I am denoting by C. If it coincide with the point C, so what is this angle? This is pi. 180 degree we can write in radian measure as pi radian. In this case, the coordinate of C will be cos pi comma sin pi. Again, if this point increases and it reaches 270 degree and coincide with this point P, coincide with the point D. Here the angle is 3 pi by 2. So 3 pi by 2, 270 is 3 pi by 2. When you convert it into radian measure, 270 is 3 pi by 2. So at the coordinate of the point D is cos 3 pi by 2 comma sin 3 pi by 2. Further, if it is this point completes one full revolution, so then one full revolution means it will reach here. Now the angle is 2 pi. Okay, if it completes one full revolution, the angle is 2 pi radian, and again it reaches A. In that case, the coordinate of A will be cos 2 pi comma sin 2 pi. So according to the angle, if the point P moves, the angle also will vary. According to the angle, you can find the coordinate of the point P. Okay, you can find the coordinate of the point P. Now if you see all these angles, that is pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi. So all these angle, that is angle AOB is equal to, here angle AOB we have as pi by 2, and angle AOC is equal to pi. Pi we can write as 2 pi by 2, and angle AOD is equal to 3 pi by 2, and angle AOA means the full complete revolution, that is 2 pi we can write as 4 pi by 2. So if you see, all these angles are integral multiples of pi by 2. So this is 1 pi by 2, this is 2 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 4 pi by 2. So all these angles are integral multiples of pi by 2. So such angles we can call as quadrantal angles. So what is quadrantal angles? All angles which are integral multiples of pi by 2. Multiples of pi by 2 is called quadrantal angle. So these angles are multiples of pi by 2. If it goes after the revolution, one complete revolution, if it is again going, we will get 5 pi by 2. At this point again we will get 6 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2, 8 pi by 2. It will keep on going like this. So these angles which are the integral multiples of pi by 2, which are integral multiples of pi by 2, are called quadrantal angles. Now we are going to see what is the value of sine and cos at this quadrantal angle, because in class 10 our discussion was up to the only for acute angle, that is you have studied the trigonometric ratios of special angles such as 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree. Up to 90 degree only we have studied. So now we are going to see, here in this chapter we are going to see the trigonometric ratios of other angles. So we are going to find the values of sine and cos at these quadrantal angles. Okay. Now we will see that the values of sin x and cos x at quadrantal angle. So before going to see this, first we will see what are the coordinates of the point A, B, C and D with respect to the coordinate axis. We are going to find its coordinate. So first you consider the point A. Actually A is a point on x axis. So if a point on x axis, then its y coordinate will be 0 and the x coordinate is nothing but OA length. Actually OA is the radius of this circle, and since it is a unit circle, then the x coordinate will be 1. So the coordinate of A is 1 0. Now the point B, so B is a point on y axis, so its x coordinate will be 0 and this distance again the radius is 1 unit, so the coordinate of B is 0 1. Now next is point C. So this point C is also on x axis, so its y coordinate will be 0 and the x coordinate, this is minus negative direction of x axis, so the coordinate of C is minus 1 comma 0. Now the point D, here D is a point on y axis, so its x coordinate will be 0 and it is in the negative direction of y axis, so the coordinate of D is equal to 0 comma minus 1. This point A, the coordinates of A we have already in terms of the angle 0, we have cos 0 sin 0. Now we have calculated the coordinates with respect to coordinate axis. We got the point A, that is 1 0. That means these two coordinates represent the same point. So we can compare its x coordinate and y coordinate. So what we can write, cos 0 is equal to 1. By after comparing these 2 points, we can write cos 0 equal to 1 and sin 0 equal to 0. Now we will move on to the next point B. At this point here the coordinate is cos pi by 2 sin pi by 2. So when you equate the x coordinate and y coordinate, what we are getting, cos pi by 2 is equal to 0, sin pi by 2 is equal to 1. Now at this point cos pi is equal to, compare the x coordinate and y coordinate, cos pi is equal to minus 1, sin pi is equal to 0. At this point we can write cos 3 pi by 2 is equal to 0 and sin 3 pi by 2 is equal to minus 1. Again at this point 2 pi, at 2 pi what we can write, cos 2 pi is equal to 1 and sin 2 pi is equal to 0. Okay, so now we have got all the values, sin and the cos values on the quadrantal angle. Now we are going to see the values of sin and cos on negative quadrantal angle. Okay, so for that we will consider the point P moving in the clockwise direction. So imagine, so if it is moving, the point is moving in the clockwise direction here. So here the angle, how will you denote this angle? Minus pi by 2. Okay, so this angle is minus pi by 2. If it covers up to this, you will get minus pi. Again if it reaches this point here, it is minus 3 pi by 2. Again finally if it completes one full revolution in the clockwise direction, here this point will be minus 2 pi. Okay, so corresponding to this angle we can write the coordinates of D. With respect to minus pi by 2, we can write the coordinates of D as cos minus pi by 2 comma sin minus pi by 2. This will be the coordinate of the point D. Okay, so from this we will write, so cos minus pi by 2, what is the value of cos minus pi by 2? That is equal to 0 and sin minus pi by 2 is equal to minus 1. We have here the coordinates of D. So comparing these two, you will get cos minus pi by 2 and sin minus pi by 2 values. Now if you reach here, this is minus pi. So this point C represent, we can write it as cos minus pi comma sin of minus pi. So when you compare with this point and the coordinate of C, cos of minus pi is equal to minus 1 and sin of minus pi is equal to to 0. Now we will move on to this point. So here we can write cos of minus 3 pi by 2 comma sine of minus 3 pi by 2, which is equal to this point 0, 1. So what is cos minus 3 pi by 2? Is equal to 0, and sine minus 3 pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2 is equal to 1. Then finally minus 2 pi. At this point we can write cos minus 2 pi is equal to 1 and sine minus 2 pi is equal to 0, because this point A we can write as cos of minus 2 pi comma sine of minus 2 pi. Okay, so now we are going to represent all these values, that is the values of sine and cos on quadrantal angle on a table. So we are going to represent these angles on a table. So we will mark all the angles and the sine and the cos values. So here x, sin x, cos x. So what are the angles? 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, minus pi by 2, minus pi, I am going to rub this, minus 3 pi by 2, minus 2 pi. Now we will listen here. Sine 0. What is sine 0? 0. Cos 0 is 1. We are remarking all these values in the tabular form. Okay. So cos pi by 2 is 0 and sine pi by 2 is 1. Sine pi is 0, cos pi is minus 1. Sine 3 pi by 2 is minus 1, cos 3 pi by 2 is 0. Sine 2 pi is 0 and cos 2 pi is 1. Then minus value, cos minus pi by 2 is equal to 0 and sine minus pi by 2 equal to minus 1. So for minus pi, sine value 0, cos value 1. And for minus 3 pi by 2, sine value is 1, cos is 0, and for minus 2 pi, sine value is 0 and cos value is 1. So we have got now the values of sine and cos on this quadrantal angle. Now we are going to see an important property of this function sine and cos. So when the sine values are 0, that is at which angles the sine values are 0. So listen here, for 0 degree, pi, 2 pi, minus pi and minus 2 pi. So for these angles, sine value is 0. So I can write sine x is equal to 0 when x is equal to 0, here pi and minus pi. So I can write plus or minus pi, and here 2 pi and minus 2 pi, plus or minus 2 pi, and for which angle? If it continues like this, plus or minus 3 pi, plus or minus 4 pi, etc. That is sine value is 0 for, can you find any pattern over here? The angle pattern, all are multiples of pi. 0, 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. So all are integral multiples of pi. So we can write sine x is equal to 0 when x is equal to, I can write it as n pi, where n belongs to z. N belongs to z means that n can take integers, that is 0, 1, 2, even minus values also n can take. That is sine x is equal to 0 when x is the integral multiples of pi. Integral multiples of pi. I'll write here integral multiples of pi. X is integral multiples of pi. Now we will see when the value of cos is 0. So when the values of cos ratio are 0, for pi by 2, Then for 3 pi by 2 minus pi by 2 minus 3 pi by 2. So I can write cos x is equal to 0 when x is equal to plus or minus pi by 2. So I can write x is equal to plus or minus pi by 2 plus or minus 3 pi by 2. If it continues like this, what I can write the next angle? Plus or minus 5 pi by 2, etc. So here can you see any pattern? This is 1 pi by 2. I can write pi by 2 means 1 pi by 2. 1 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2. The next will be 7 pi by 2. So what we are getting here? X are odd multiples of pi by 2. So I can write cos x is equal to 0 when x is an odd multiple of pi by 2. Odd number, how will you represent? 2n plus 1. So odd multiple of pi by 2, that is 2n plus 1 into pi by 2, where n belongs to z. This is the next important property of cos function. So when sin value and cos value are 0, we have to see this x is an odd multiple of pi by 2. So listen here, these two are very important point. Sin x is 0 when x is an integral multiple of pi. Cos x is equal to 0 when x is an odd multiple of pi by 2. So these two points, these two properties will be using in many places. Okay. So we have seen some properties of sin and cos functions. In the next video, we will continue with this. If you like my channel, you can share and subscribe. Your subscription, my motivation. Thank you, children.